Well, welcome to Coffee with a Purpose, everyone. Fortunately, we were just talking about the heavy rains on Saturday, but so far the clouds have held off. So here's hoping, because I have to walk downtown later today. So um, our guest this morning is Heather Rockwood, the new executive director for the Natick Center Cultural District. So we're really happy to meet you, Heather, and to hear what has brought you to Natick and what kind of plans you have for the cultural district activities. We usually start with a brief introduction so that you get a sense of who's in the room. I think you may have already met most of the people at MetroWorks physically there. Is that true, Martin? Or
Actually, a few have come in the last minute or two.
all right, so why don't we start there?
Okay, let's start with our last week's
I'm
guest.
Cindy Bates, and I live just across the common. 5.5 years resident here. I sing in sound and spirit, and I am the trail steward for Takawambi Trail, and I pick up at Coolidge Field for keeping and a lot of other places.
Martin Kessel, been in Natick almost 70 years. Oh gosh. And town meeting almost that long. No, not really. I think 25 years in town meeting and chair of the open space committee. That's my big activity. Brandon.
Hi, Brandon Ward. I just accepted a new role with Family Promise Metro West, doing some public policy and community advocacy work with them. And I'm also on the city council in Framingham.
Oh, very cool.
Should I introduce myself?
No, you can hold up.
Okay.
Hi, Bill Ramage. I'm active in the First Congregational Church. I am a trail steward at Peak & Cove, and I'm the chair of the Community Preservation Committee in Natick.
Hi Heather, I'm Kathleen Donovan. I'm a 35-year resident of Natick, so half of Martin's time, I guess. Hi Kathleen. I'm on the library board of trustees. I work with Jane Ellen Newman, if you work with her at this point. She's our arts person. And I also volunteer with Keep Natick Beautiful.
And you're just in the right spot for the introductions.
Maintenance person, Karen Buckfield, let's see, former town meeting member, fellow Rotarian. Let's see, we did Keep Natick Beautiful cleanup yesterday at the Settling Pond, which was quite a fun event. The repair cat value organizer, and this last thing, managed a couple pieces of property for the town and do maintenance work for happy on an as-need basis or a regular basis, but it doesn't find. So doing a little bit of everything, keep busy.
Yeah.
And that's
Thanks for
it.
being here.
That's it for here, unless somebody else wonders it.
So are you our connection to them?
Cool. Thanks. And online, I see Carol.
Good morning. I'm Carol Berkowitz, and I've been in Natick over 50 years and live on Lake Cochituate and have done work for the lake to protect it, and been a town meeting member, been a special educator for 30 years. Yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Carol. Janji?
Good morning. My name is Janji Monar, and I'm a resident of Natick more than 25 years ago. And every Monday morning, I come into here to learn more about our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Janji. Tom?
Hi, Tom Daly. I'm a resident of Natick for about 35 years. Member of Smart Kindness, and welcome.
Thanks, Tom. Anne?
Hi, good morning. I'm Anne LaFleur. I live right in downtown. I've been here for, 20 plus years now. Currently do a lot of work consulting at the Spiritual Center, actually.
Oh, awesome. Good. Nice to meet you, Anne. Let's see. Brinley.
Good morning. Brinley, 25-year resident, town meeting member, 2 kids, one still in the school system, one just out of the school system. Basically, just kind of like everybody else. Love being here. I'm excited to have you here, and welcome to Natick.
Thanks, Brinley. Deborah.
Hi, I'm Deborah Mitchell. I've been living in Natick since 2014. My claim to fame is my book, Poppin' Beans, I wrote for the children. I'm also the former director of the Black Lives Matter Natick. Now I'm the BLM Natick. And also have a TV show called Keeping It Real that showcases and talks about African American issues. I was glad to have Heather on the show, and also am glad to be on the cultural committee with Heather for Juneteenth.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Deborah. Let's see, Judy.
Hi, everybody. I know I bid farewell to you a few weeks ago as the housing equity advocate for Family Promise, but behold, Heather's presence this morning makes perfect opportunity for a community engagement coordinator to connect with the community and learn about upcoming opportunities. I'm excited to have Brandon in the room and introduce you to him. He's going to be terrific in leading the policy and advocacy stuff. And just for Brandon's sake, a little shout out to Carrie, Cindy, and Brinley, who are all in the meeting either in person or virtually. Those are folks who have shown up for us in person to advocate for housing initiatives that we care about. So yay for them, and happy to make those connections for Brandon.
Thanks, Judy. Sally.
Good morning. I'm Sally Hopkins. I've lived in Natick now 8 years, and I'm working with Keep Natick Beautiful. My brother Pat is the founder, and he's the head inspirer. He gets you inspired, and of course you get to work. But I love the community, and I'm really learning a lot about all of you from Coffee with a Purpose. Looking forward to what you have to share this morning.
Thanks, Sally. And of course, Pat founded this group as well. Sarah.
Hi, Sarah Hannah. Doug and I have been here 43 years, which seems amazing. I am a town meeting member, serve with Bill on the Community Preservation Committee. Doug and I are both active in First Congregational Church. Interested in a lot of environmental stuff, and that's enough to be going on with.
Great. And Rick, I see you've just joined us.
I did. Good morning, everybody. I'm looking forward to hearing another travel log from Martin. The last one was fabulous, and as was Cindy's. So thank you guys for sharing and the work of putting this together so we can experience it from an armchair.
Oh, that's not this week. That's 2 weeks from today.
Right.
Oh, it is. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's how eager I am
You're
to see it. Not to be dismissive of our guest Heather today. Sorry about that. Apologies.
You're going to enjoy her. All right, cool. I think that's everybody. And I'm Doug. I moderate this group. Thankful to Pat for getting this all started many, many years ago. He does so much for the town. So Heather, we'll turn it over to you. Your choice on whether you want to just take questions as they come or whether you'd prefer to have people hold off till the end.
Yeah, I don't mind if people interrupt me with questions. I don't think interruptions is a bad word. I highly enjoy, because if you get me off on a tangent, I will speak longer, and that's always good.
Great. All right.
All right. So, okay, there it is. So thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here to talk with everybody. My name is Heather Rockwood, and I'm the Executive Director of the Natick Center Cultural District. Or is it the Natick Center Associates? We're going to find out.
Oh.
There we go. So what is a cultural district? So at its most basic, it's a zoned area of a town or city. And you can see here, I put the map from the Town of Natick map.go that you can go online to the Town of Natick website, and you can look at every zoned area in Natick. So it's a really fun tool to play with online. And I just took a screenshot of exactly those blue areas that are crosshatched is the Natick Center Cultural District. This district can change It takes, you know, some applications, some discussions and some meetings to make sure that everything is how we want it. But this is kind of my area of purview. To give a little more about what a cultural district is, other than a zoned area, the Massachusetts Cultural Council started cultural districts in 2011 as a program, and Natick was one of the first places to apply to this program, and we were accepted and were designated a cultural district in 2012. And so the state gives money to the Massachusetts Cultural Council, which is a state agency, and in turn, the Massachusetts Cultural Council turns around and gives it to the Natick Cultural Council, to granting programs directly to artists, to schools and things like that. But they also give money to the cultural districts. And when it first started, they were giving about $5,000 to each district a year. Now we get about $15,000.
Excuse me, Heather, could you just give us a little introduction as to how you got the job recently and what's your background?
We can skip around. Who am I? So, so my background is in the museum field. I started in the museum field in 2010, and I got a job selling tickets and front desk work and giving tours at the Old State House Museum, which is run by what used to be known as the Bostonian Society and now is named Revolutionary Boston. They now also own the Old South Meeting House, but they did not while I was there. I really fell in love with museums before I even started working at museums, but the Old State House really had me falling in love with revolutionary history, with expressing history to people, to creating community. After I was working in tours and selling tickets, I moved over to fundraising, membership, event work. And so a lot of those skills are still things that I use today that I use there. I worked there for 7 years. And then I moved over to the Newport Historical Society in Newport, Rhode Island. And that's not the mansions. It's more of the little historical museum in the center of the downtown of Newport. And they also own some of the historical buildings around town that aren't open all the time. So there, and actually you can see a lot of those buildings in really famous movies and shows. I'm trying to think of the latest one. One of the latest ones was the new Hocus Pocus was filmed in one of the locations, and gosh, I can't remember the other one. It's not Downton Abbey, but the one placed in Newport, New York. Anyway, so I worked for the Newport Historical Society doing similar things, marketing, membership, fundraising, grant writing, those types of things. And then I moved over during the pandemic to the Massachusetts Historical Society, and there I was doing social media and emails. So after the pandemic was kind of waning, I know it's still going on, but it was kind of waning, and I was looking around for something that would really fit my skills and what I really do, and that's when I found this position, but we're not there yet. So we're still talking about who am I. So for funsies, I founded in 2017 a steampunk festival, which is that first picture up there on the left. I'm in that yellow skirt in the background, but I really love this picture because that was the winner of our costume contest in 2019. We are usually in October, now we're in January, but at the time we used to have a costume contest and it was very Halloween and steampunk and very fun. And I'm also a big nerd and a mom. So I spend a lot of my time watching shows, reading books, and hanging out with my 12-year-old daughter is what I do in my time away from here. Going back to.
What's your favorite corner of nerddom? What's the oddest thing that you just totally obsess about?
Oh gosh, there's too many.
Good answer.
Fellow nerds.
I'm a Renaissance woman of nerddom. I am a jack of all trades and master of none. I really like Star Wars, but Pride and Prejudice, and I really love sci-fi and fantasy and Dune, and I'm kind of all over the place. So the only thing, and I know it's terrible, the only thing I really don't like is Doctor Who. I can't get into it. I've tried
None of them? There've been a bunch of them over the years.
No, I've tried several different
You're putting
doctors.
Dr. Who down.
I love it when people love it. I just, it's one of those things that people are there and they're like gung ho about it. And they're going, it's the one thing I can't get.
Well, Heather, I just want to mention, you told on my show, you talked about the steampunk festival, and I had no idea what it was, remember? Well,
Yes.
I got a notification of a Juneteenth steampunk party. And it's in Indiana. I wish I could go.
Oh, wow.
But it's really
Sounds really
cool.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy also had her hand up, but I'm just gonna point out that we now have actually quite a few people. We thought we were gonna get almost nobody today, but we got a large group, and I kind of would like to get through a lot of the slides before we get to just an open discussion, but maybe.
Okay.
Explain what steampunk is.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Steampunk, it's hard to describe and you'll get a different description from every different steampunk that you ask. But what I describe it as is retrofuturism. So you take the interesting and fun parts of the past, you reimagine what they would do with steam technology and place it into the future. So it's like, what would a steam car look like if they invented it way back in Victorian times and we've had it this whole time and now it's in the future? So that would affect art, clothing, hairstyles, how you talk to each other, what your name would be, what art looks like, how literature is. And it actually was a movement in literature first. The coin was termed by an author in 1986 to describe what they were writing. So that's,
Thank you.
sums up steampunk to me, but everybody has a different answer. So we're going backwards. So I had, I'm the executive director of the Natick Center Cultural District, or is it the Natick Center Associates? So why the Natick Center Associates? Well, the town of Natick received that designation of the Natick Center Cultural District in 2012 and zoned the center to reflect this district. But the Natick Center Associates have been around for 40 years, since the 1980s, and they're a 501c3, and they were made up of business and building owners and interested community and constituents. So in 2011, they helped to write and submit the application for the district. So they helped get that designation, and then they applied to the town to then run that district. And we do have to reapply every 3 years, and that was one of my first acts as executive director as our application came up. And so I had to write this, 60, 70 page application within my first 3 months of becoming the executive director. In turn, the town does give us $100,000 a year, and they require us to report to them what we're doing with the money and how we're using it. So that's who am I? Oh, by the way, that is a picture of me at the Massachusetts Historical Society with Thomas Hutchinson, who I have a historical crush on. He is fantastic. If you don't know, he was the last royally appointed British governor of Massachusetts, and everyone in Massachusetts hated him. He was awful. He is the reason the Boston Tea Party happened. He came out onto the balcony of the old State House and stopped the Boston Massacre from happening, because he went out there and yelled at everybody to go home. And he was banished, of course, by the king, was brought back to England, even though he was born and raised here in Massachusetts and raised in Boston. And while he was there, he lived out his entire life never coming back home to his beloved Massachusetts. And he wrote a history of Massachusetts, which you can still read online today. So he's just a really fascinating character, and he really loved Massachusetts and Boston. This was his home. But everyone here hated him so much.
What's his first name?
Thomas.
Okay.
I call him T Hutch, but that's because I'm a fangirl. So this very accurate meme of me at work is, what do? I send a lot of emails. So if you see me in my office on Court Street, this is what you'll see me doing. So I liaise between the town and the district merchants. I organize and execute free events for the public, which we will go into. I create and pay for marketing locally, statewide, countrywide, and internationally. I work with the Economic Development Office, the Economic Development Committee, and building owners to bring businesses in to create interest in this area. I also oversee 4 part-time staff, one of which runs the Natick Farmers Market, which we do own. I also provide financial oversight and decision-making for the Natick Center Associates 501c3 / Natick Center Cultural District. Yes, it's a public-private partnership that is hard to describe unless you know 40 years of background information. So these are our upcoming events. This is a picture I took at our Holy event that happened in May. It's a really great event with background in India, and it's the Festival of Colors or the Festival of Love, and it's where people throw colored powder at each other to really celebrate life and living, and then we danced to Bollywood music for an hour. It was really fun and really colorful and very messy. But this is our whole slate of events for the year and their dates in that month. You'll see that next week we have coming up is Juneteenth. And the week after that, we have started Natick Nights. And one thing I wanted to say in this meeting is that during Natick Nights, you're going to see a big change this year because usually the beer garden is over on Adams Street. And this year we're bringing it over to Common Street. So it's a whole different way of doing the beer garden. Everything is going to be in one area. But because there's no alcohol allowed on the common, we're still doing it on the street. So everything is going to be in one area and it's going to be really fun and lots of music, really fun entertainment. We got a close-up magician who will be wandering around doing close-up magic. Any questions on any of these events?
I assume you're gonna go into Juneteenth more.
We can go into Juneteenth more if you would like to.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that right now. So there is going to be 3 bands. So first of all, let me start with, we're collaborating with the Natick Historical Society because they do Reading Frederick Douglass together, which is a reading of Frederick Douglass's speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July, which is a really important speech. It really speaks to the day. And usually they do it in the front yard of the library. In our collaboration, they're doing on Natick Common, and they're starting at 10:30 in the morning. And we picked a very shady spot so nobody will be sunburned, so that people can listen to it and participate because I think they still need readers, and you can sign up online. We have a link on our website event, and I think on the Natick Historical Society event. And then right as that ends, we'll be starting the Juneteenth in Natick event, which will have music and food and booths. And it'll be a really great community celebration of the day. So that's what's happening on Juneteenth.
What's the
Heather, did you want to mention the crocodile coming?
Sorry, Debbie, you were breaking up.
Juneteenth. I'm just put crocodile river music.
Hey, Deborah, if you try turning off your video and keeping your audio on, we might be able to hear you better.
I think Deborah wanted me to mention the music. So we're having the Drum Nomads, the Crocodile River Band, and the Squeeze Box Stompers. And those are the 3 bands that are happening. The timing is the reading starts at 10:30 a.m. It ends between noon and 12:30. And so music will start between noon and 12:30, and then we'll end around 3 o'clock.
Okay,
cool. Judy, you had your hand up as well.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask, I'm hearing that it sounds like a lot of the Juneteenth activities will be free to participants. I was just curious about what elements of the program have a cost associated with them. I'm just thinking ahead to a way to engage our community of supporters to perhaps fund some of our guests to attend and sort of how we might do that. And be able to fund, food or like whatever the things are that might cost money.
So everything is free except for buying food. So if they need money to purchase food, that would be the only thing that they would need to bring.
Cool.
And of course, Coffee with a Purpose is talking about Juneteenth at our next session. That's our subject, so we can talk more next week.
That's right. Yeah. I have one question about Natick nights, where you said that the alcohol license doesn't allow alcohol on the common, so you'll be selling it on the street, on Common Street. Does that also prohibit where you can walk with your beverage?
It sure does. Yes, so we're going to have barricades around the beer garden. And an entrance area so that people with signs that say, no alcohol but beyond this point. So you'll be able to hear the music, you'll be a part of the festivities. There's going to be activities in the beer garden as well. And we're having I wish I brought a list with me of all of the vendors that are coming, but they are on the event pages on our website. So if you want to see the names of all the vendors, they will be there. But yes, you will have to drink your beer in the beer garden.
Just a quick thought on this. It reminds me of, I think in Cambridge, there is the equivalent of something like this with bands all around Harvard Square and Brattle Street and so forth. And the restaurants in those areas all sort of build out areas into sidewalks, into the streets and so forth to accommodate beer drinkers and eaters and so forth and all those kinds of places. Would that be a possible model for a future in Natick? Do you think, Heather?
That would be interesting because then people would have to walk down the street with their beer. And I'm not sure the powers
Well, they don't.
that be.
They don't. They have to stay in the confined areas, but everywhere they are, I think they have. You've probably seen it. I don't know, but they probably have 6 to 10 bands around in different places. So everywhere you are, you can hear a band if you can't see one. And they block off cars, obviously. So it's a pedestrian thing, which makes the whole thing easier. Obviously, public transportation is more available getting there and getting out of there than it is in downtown Natick locally. So there's that issue that may, get reflected upon by whoever makes these lofty decisions. I don't know. Is that the select board would have to have a policy for something like that, or?
Yes, and the police, I think it would be a long discussion with many offices around the town.
Well, if you want somebody a volunteer advocate, I'll raise my hand.
I also think closing 27 would be a lot harder of a convincing than closing Common Street.
Yeah, it would be. Yep.
All right, let's move on to some of these other events.
It could be a detour.
Quite the schedule.
Okay, go ahead.
I also wanted to mention that during Natick nights, there is going to be pride activities going on June 26th. So a lot of the churches in the area, a lot of the stores in the area are also going to be having events as well as us. So we're going to have a board out with all the events that we can get on there before we have to have it printed and pointing towards those events. So I want people to know that it's kind of like this year it's from 5 to 8, which is our usual time, but there's so much going on that you're going to fill your entire 5 to 8. You're going to be able to eat dinner, have beer, go shopping, do free activities. It's going to be you won't want to miss Natick nights.
Hey, quick question that night. You've got just one date for Natick nights each month, so I presume it's every Thursday, correct?
It's always on Thursday, and
You want to put all the dates there?
yes, so and
10th, 17th, 24th.
exactly. And July, no, it's not every Thursday. It's just these 3 Thursdays. And July and August have rain dates, which are 2 weeks later, which June doesn't have because 2 weeks later is the July date.
So that's a change, Carrie. I mean, in previous years, it has been more frequent, but I think maybe it's more stuff on fewer nights. Is that the idea, Heather, maybe? Or?
Exactly. We're trying to make them, it's all together. So it's trying to make it bigger, really exciting. We heard from some people that like their feedback was, oh, there was another one next week, so I'll just go that week instead. And so, this one, it's trying to make it more of a exciting event that you can't miss. Yeah, and I saw a question go by and that was, I'm sorry, how do you sign up for Natick Nights?
Yeah.
The sign up is a Google form, which is on our website event calendar. And so you just go there, you click on the Google form, fill it out, and we'll contact you.
What are you
Um,
signing up for?
And that's sign up for a table.
You're signing up for a booth. We're not looking for people to sell things. We're looking for you to run activities for the most part. So if you have an organization and you want to talk to people about it, you can come and have them play foosball or badminton or something like that at your table, make it really fun and exciting. And by the way, our organization does this. So you can still promote yourself, but we ask that you have an activity, exciting activity for people to do at Natick Nights.
And, movies was that part of this before?
Yes, so on some Thursday nights there are, and I think it's July is the one where our Thursday night matches up with the Park and Recreations Department, Recreation and Parks Department, movie nights, and I think, no, it's August, and they're playing If, Imaginary Friend, If, yeah.
So that was always Park and Rec.
Yes, they own that.
For me,
Yeah.
it was like, it's just on the comments, so.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like the same event, but just different organizations
Thank
running
you
it.
for clarifying.
Yeah. Any other event questions? Oh,
When does Natick, what are the hours of Natick Nights? I forget.
they're from 5 to 8.
5 to 8, okay.
Yeah, I have a question. You have a multi-cultural day in August. What date in
I
August?
forgot to put it on here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's on August 23rd, Multicultural Day.
Planning to have music? Like, are you going to bring in a band or? Because I think we talked about maybe getting a band.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in, I think 1 or 2 bands, but there's also going to be culturally significant performances by different organizations around town.
And people can bring their tents, groups and organizations. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for bringing it up, Deborah. I'm so sorry I missed it.
Cool. A lot of stuff. What's the difference between a holiday stroll and a holiday hustle? That hustle sounds like it should be outlawed or something, right?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure yet. I think the holiday hustle is more of shops having discounts and having promotions and making sure that people get around to all the stores before the last days before before Christmas. And I think holiday stroll is more of please correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know for sure, of the tree lighting and walking around town.
Cool. So
There was
procrastination will pay off.
There was a movement by Tom Daly to change the name from Hustle. Holiday Hustle to something else, right, Tom?
You don't like the hustle? All right, I'm gonna.
I have a question. I'm sorry, it just occurred to me. On that schedule, I know you obviously started with May because that was timely, right? So that we could see what just happened and what's going forward. I do see that January, February, March, April are not up. Is that because you just haven't developed those yet? And I imagine also that there's some downtime in the winter, but I just wanted to learn more about your thinking about that. Not calling you out because this is an enormously aggressive schedule.
Yeah, there's not many events in January, February, March, or April. And in fact, the only event that we usually do have, I did not run this past year because I just came into the job, which is the We Love Women event, which is an event for businesswomen of Natick, featuring a businesswoman speaker. And it usually happens in March, and I started January 13th and just did not have time to find a speaker, organize the event, and have it really exciting and people want to go to it. And to market it in time. I just didn't have the time this year. But
No
hopefully next year.
judgment here.
Yeah. I wanted to show everybody examples of the ads, and just as a disclaimer, I did not design any of these ads, but they are delightful. The one in the middle is, of course, the banners that we have up around town, or at least one of the styles of banners. I have been asked to change these banners in the next few years, so we'll be seeing some new banner program be rolled out in the next few years. On the left is the Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau magazine that they put out once a year, and you can see the bottom right is all Natick Center Cultural District and talking about the events that we have, the art that is featured, and all the exciting things that are happening here. And then on the right is a typical ad that we would put out into any kind of newspaper or magazine, both locally or international. It just is, there's so much happening here. Come and find out why. Look at our website. So these are the kinds of things that we put out. And when I do say internationally, I mean through the Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau, they send information out to Asia, to Europe, to all sorts of different places to interest people in coming specifically here to Metro West Boston. So we get visitors from these areas, and especially with FIFA coming up next year. In case you don't know, the Soccer World Cup is coming to Gillette Stadium in June and July 2026. And so we are expecting an influx of many international visitors during that time. So we are already in discussions with the town and with visitors bureaus. And I learned about this at a conference for tourism in March. So we are preparing and we are on it. Money. So this is something you can find online. I in fact took these as screenshots from ProPublica online, and if people run nonprofits, you know, you can find all of our 990s online. And so you can go look up how much the executive director makes every year. And once our taxes are filed, you'll be able to look up my salary. I always find that really fun when you are looking at jobs, you can go and look up how much people are getting paid. And you can see one of the fun things that I really like, if I can get my cursor there, is you can find like 2011 to 2023. So you can see the revenue through all of these years, and you can see there's high points and there's low points, and things change as years go on and things are built. And you can see, you know, all of this makes sense. You can see the high points are all very similar. And you can see that we don't make a lot of money in this nonprofit. We're a very small nonprofit. We have 5 total employees and 4 of them are part-time. And so when people are kind of like, well, where does the money go? It goes towards the events we run. It goes towards the marketing that we do. The things that you see around town, that's where the money goes. And we also do other programs too, where what we do is like some of the flowers around town is something that we organize. The Natick Garden Club orders the flowers and puts the flowers in, and they do that all for free. And then we pay the flower bills and we pay to have them watered. We do charge the businesses a fee to have that done, and then whatever is left over, we kind of pay for that. So there are programs like that we just don't even talk about, that we do around town just to beautify the town, to make it a great place to live, a great place to work. Oh, are there any questions about finances over several years? Okay. I also wanted to show our current budget to show you that, and this is a little different. We made it balance to 0 recently. I just didn't have a copy handy last week when I was making this, but we raised the business, corporate, individual, that's membership, to 25,000 to make the profit loss at the bottom 0. But you can see kind of how much we spend on personnel, which is our biggest line. And then our second biggest line is events and programs. Marketing is $15,000. Travel, that's like I went to a conference and the ticket cost $200, and that's where that money kind of goes.
Heather, did you say one of the incomes was from membership fees? Is that
yes,
by businesses? Does that scale with the size of the business at all, or?
So yes, so we provide certain services. And then we have a membership. So one of the things we did this year is we did raise our membership prices. And we raised a business that has less than 10 employees from $125 to $200. And that was our biggest raise, because that is one of the reasons is that is our biggest membership area. But also the membership prices have not been raised in over 20 years. And so with the cost of things right now, we thought maybe it's time. And we only raised it $75 per organization. And so when it's spread out around many, many organizations and businesses, nobody will feel the pinch, especially, hopefully. But yes, when you have a slightly bigger organization, when you have 10 to 50 people, it's, oh gosh, trying to make me remember things now, $500. And then an organization that has 50 plus employees is $1,500. And they
You
all
said the
kind
bulk of your members are those smaller businesses. Is that-
smaller businesses,
Yeah.
because that's what we do the most for, is the smaller businesses that are in Natick Center. But one of the things you do get with membership, so people that are run a table at the Natick nights, it's a $30 fee per night if you're not a member. So one of the perks of membership is getting that free table at Natick night. So not only do you get other perks, but you get this one perk which makes you very visible to everyone around town that's going to Natick nights.
Do you have a sense of what percentage of the small businesses in Natick are members?
Oh, right now, not all of them. I would say we're at 25%. But we just put out membership about 3 weeks ago as an ask. So we're just gonna start following up with people this week, next week, and see who else we get. We had about 50% membership before we put out the membership pass. Mainly it's I don't have time for this, I'll do it later, which is fine, I do that too.
So
Heather, do you worry about any of the anti-DEI things going on with this regime in terms of the cultural districts in general?
You know, I'm kind of ignoring that. Not your question, but and not the concern, but we're going to continue doing DEI work. So to me, people who aren't doing it, it is moot because I'm still doing it. So if people decide not to do it, that's their decision and I don't like it, but I can't control them. But here at the district, we still align with DEI.
In your viewpoint, why is DEI beneficial to a community?
Well,
Heather?
I think that having different voices in the community is really important. I don't think I'm the most important voice in the room, even when I'm the one presenting. I think other people having questions and I think other people calling me on things is fine because I don't know everything. That's just, and my experiences aren't the most important.
I don't know if you can hear me that well, but Natick being a cultural district that promotes DEI was very beneficial and almost life-saving for me when I moved to Natick, given that it's a majority white town. But I found community in the Natick Cultural District Center.
Yeah. Maybe another way of asking the question, Heather, might be, are there like objectives or foundational principles to the cultural district organization or Natick Center Associates that affirm the importance of diversity or DEI? So that it's maybe more ingrained than just your personal approach to life.
You know, we are currently working on the bylaws, but there are lines in the bylaw that says that DEI work is important.
Good.
But they're currently being worked on, and that is one thing that is very important for me to keep.
So I just like to clarify, you had that great map at the beginning showing the zone here. So are all the members are from that zone?
That is a great question. So I like to think of them as zones of influence.
Yes.
Because for the MCC designation, I have to spend that $15,000 in the district.
Okay.
For our purview, we try to stay within the district for running our events, but I can market events like Art in the Park that happened yesterday. We can market that for them. They can put it on our website. We can share it on our social media. For membership, if they want to, it's the Natick Nights. If they want to come and do Natick Nights, we really want to feature local Natick Center businesses, but other businesses can come and be on the park, and that we call that kind of our zone of influence of all of Natick.
Okay, so when you're talking about membership,
Mhm.
can you give a sense of how many businesses are members? And then of those, how many are from this district?
Well, like I said before, I think 25% of the businesses here, I think, are members. The percent of membership directly in the district, I think beforehand, before we put it out, that's a good question, because I don't, I don't have the numbers right in front of me.
How many businesses are members in total, like 100, 200, 5? I mean, I have no idea.
Before, we had about 180.
Okay.
And which is pretty good number for
Yeah.
a really small
Yeah.
organization. But now we're have like 30 to 50 is kind of our number since we put out our membership. And most of those businesses are downtown businesses.
That's good.
We also have individuals, we have artists. So that's what I'm like,
Yeah. Hard
their
to add
addresses.
up. Yeah.
If I had the names and the things right in front of me, I could give a better answer.
I just wanted a sense of the scale.
Yeah.
Can I back up just to the budget again? Is this the budget to the Cultural Council, or is this to the Natick Center Associates, which is a 501c3?
This is the budget to the Natick Center Associates.
Okay.
Which runs the Natick Center Cultural District.
Right. Okay. So thanks for clarifying. And so the town, it gives $100,000 to the 501c3. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So I assume they don't get any tax deduction from that. You probably may not even know that. How does that work?
So my understanding is that we apply to the town to run the district for them, and for us running the district, they pay us $100,000.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I understand. Okay, so it's a fee, actually, not a donation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That helps. Thanks. And I missed it before. The MWVB is what?
The Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau.
Visitors Bureau. Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you. And the earned income comes primarily from events?
From earned income can be like when you go to buy a beer at Natick Nights for $7, that goes directly to us as a donation. But we also do grant writing.
Oh, got it. Okay. Thank you. Sorry if you already went over this.
Oh, no, I didn't.
We had one question in the chat, just for businesses that are members. Is there any kind of networking opportunities that you, foster or hold or?
We do. We have every spring and every fall, we have a series of member meetups, and we have them on Thursday mornings for like coffee meetups, and then we have them on Thursday evenings for like evening meetups. We had one last Thursday. It was our last one of the spring. And at that one, we had a tour of the new buildings, 21 Summer Street. And then we went over to 7 South and we all got to network with each other.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. Questions, comments?
As if we haven't asked enough already.
This is why I love having people ask questions during it. But here is all my information, my office phone number and my email. Make sure I spelled that right. Yes, I did. But if you have any further questions, you can feel free to email me. Like I said, I'm constantly answering emails, which means it may take me a day or two to get back to you, but I will answer you.
I've got a question for you, Heather, kind of a two-parter. One, going back to your past, what attracted you to Natick? Why were you interested in coming here? What did you see that attracted you? And then, not on the flip side, but just going forward, what are you looking forward to changing or doing maybe new that hasn't happened yet in Natick? Do you have any initial thoughts about any of that?
Sure. So I just stepped down as the chair of the Attleboro Cultural Council. And so and I learned about the MCC while I was working at the Old State House Museum. So I've been following them for a really long time. I knew about the cultural districts. I was working with Attleboro to start a cultural district there. And so I really love cultural districts. I love the MCC. It's one of my favorite state agencies, if you can have one of those. And like I said, I'm just a big nerd for these things. And so when and I was, I was looking, I had a really good job at the Massachusetts Historical Society, some of the best coworkers I've ever had in my life. And I was really comfortable, but I'm always looking around to see what's out there and what's going on. And I saw this job come up and really looked closely at it. I was at a point in my career where I'm only applying to jobs that I know I would take if it was offered. And so when I applied and got an interview, I was like, I would take this immediately. So cultural districts in general, and then Natick being one of the first ones to get a cultural district really shows me that it's really needed here. It's really wanted here. The people want it to be here. And I really wanted to enter a situation where the community was on board. And after being here for 6 months, I really think this community loves having a cultural district. They really love community. Everybody that comes to things volunteers with several different organizations. It's a very community-minded place. It's a very culturally minded place. And I think that, like my last job, the people are what's going to keep me coming here and being really happy in this position.
Cool.
If that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the first part of the question. Do you have
Second part.
any initial thoughts of kind of, now that you've been here, what, about a half year or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, looking, maybe it's too soon to say of any things that you haven't seen happening that you'd like to launch a new get us going in some new direction, or?
Well, when in March, when and this is just a shade of an idea, and I've already discussed it with my staff and they went, hold on. So so next year is the not only is FIFA coming here, Tall Ships will also be in Boston in June and July, which brings get millions of people into Boston. And it's the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, which, as you know, what took 2 weeks to come to Boston, was read on July 18th. But they always do it on July 4th every year. So it's kind of a big event. There's going to be millions of people here. But what's also happening in Natick is the 175th year,
375.
375.
I was like,
Yeah.
I know it's something 75 year of anniversary of Natick, and I think we should bring back the July 4th parade.
No,
I don't know if I should run that.
I can see why they said, hold on.
Yes,
That's
yes.
My staff went, hold on.
It was so much fun, though.
This is a crazy idea. But I think that's something that we should bring back. That would be really cool. But I want to be a part of it, but I'm not sure I'm the person to lead that. So we'll see if a community member steps up and does that.
You've got ambition. Wow. Okay.
Awesome.
Saturday. It is a Saturday.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I went,
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been great information. Do other folks have questions, comments, feedback? Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing. You can see people.
Yeah. Man, you bring a lot of energy.
Yeah, just that we're glad to have you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing how many things go on during the year. And, I think we see all that stuff and we don't necessarily realize it's all all organized by this one organization. So it's really quite something, quite a contribution to the town.
There's so many other things that go on too, like art in the park. I don't do, but I market. Natick Days is something that we help in the background, but I don't organize that at all. I'm scared of that day. That day frightens me.
Yeah, Rec Park takes the lead on that.
Rexham Park takes the lead on that. I'm not sure who runs Art in the Park. I think it's the Natick Artists Association. Yeah.
Cool. But issue kind of an open invitation to you, Heather. Obviously, as the year goes on, as next year develops, if there are times that you'd like to come back to tell us about other events or to get feedback from us about things, or maybe just put in a quick 5-minute blurb for something, stay in contact, because we can help spread the word and so forth.
I would just say, I could add just a thought. Several of us here, not sure exactly who all's here, but I see Sarah, I see, others are part of Eco Natick, which is just a volunteer-led effort. I'd call it a website, econatick.org. And one of the sort of issues in town that's floating around in various different departments being discussed here and there, not just the health department, but Parks and Rec, certainly is the issue of sort of heat islands. And the town has done a heat island map of where heat is extreme in the town, and certainly the cultural district and the downtown center area is one area where it is. And I'm wondering if there isn't some way to enhance, even business traffic then by inviting people to come in to, this is just off the top of my head, so this is not even half baked. The oven isn't even turned on yet. But I'm just wondering if there's some way to mitigate heat through businesses and other organizations in the downtown cultural district, to get people inside doing something fun, to attract them, like to the spiritual center, which I'm sure is a great resource, not just for housing the farmers market, for 5 months a year, but also for so many different things. And it's just something that can be done there. Lots of people live in the downtown too, and on really hot days it does slow down, which is not good for business or anything else. And so just a thought, sort of bring, tempers flare and heat, all that kind of stuff happens. So anyway, throw that out. But now that we have your contact information, we'll probably throw out a lot more barely baked notions, and you have to sort out which ones really have anything to do with what you do, which, I'd have to listen to this talk again and again to kind of really, marinate anything. But thank you again for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question about, I was just thinking about businesses here, and not all of them are what I would say culturally oriented, like, so if you're an insurance agent, are you, what is it? Is there another, so that's two questions. Is there another organization of businesses in Natick that helps those businesses? And is this one really geared towards businesses like restaurants and art galleries and whatever? Just kind of curious, like, are you looking for all the businesses? Would you let it, all of the businesses were members of this, or are you really trying to gear towards certain ones because of the cultural aspect?
That's a good question. We have all sorts of different businesses, from, the spas and jujitsu and dance and all sorts of different kind of service style businesses, insurance companies. But we also have banks and stores and dentists and things like that as organizations. But we also have members that are like the Natick Service Council, that are really working in the community. So I'd say we would welcome any kind of business as a member. But I think where they are coming from is they are a member of the cultural district, and we provide the cultural experiences, and they kind of help us with that. So I'm not sure that they're unaligned with, they're not selling culture, but they might be participating in culture. Yeah.
Benefiting from it happening around them.
Yes, that too.
Carrie, did you have?
Can you address?
No, I'm good.
Are there other business organizations in there? Does it, or anybody like?
Yeah.
Are you in? Like.
I'm sure there's other cultural organizations.
No, like associations of businesses, like a Chamber of Commerce, just name it, like,
Oh,
I don't know, like,
no.
I'm so new here, I just don't know.
Yeah, I think there used to be one, but I think it's gone by the wayside.
Okay.
The Metro West Chamber does like,
Yeah.
it falls within its service area.
Yeah.
But obviously Metro West is a big place, so.
Yeah. So if you're a business in Natick and you want to be in a group, then this is it.
This is it, but you can, like, we're a member of the Metro West Boston Visitors Bureau, we're a member of the Metro West Chamber, so there are other organizations they can be a member of, if they decide they don't like us.
I think at one time there was Natick business counselors, which to that effect. Yeah, because I remember when we started Renewable Natick in 2018, we made a presentation to them about why the town should move to 100% renewable energy. So maybe that, does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
Martin, do you remember?
Yeah, I had a question, it was kind of instigated, I think. It was Rick who talked about downtown residents, or, I don't know, somehow something set this off in my mind, but there's been a lot of nice development of residential units almost next door here, and then down in 135, there's several places being built. And it seems like there's an opportunity to really revitalize downtown in terms of places that are going to stay open after 5 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yes.
restaurants, cafes that don't close at 5 o'clock, Is that something that you've seen happen, or that you're hoping, or you're trying to make sure it will happen as we get more residential people downtown?
That is what we are hoping. One of the things with businesses is, when you build it, they will come, but also they have to have enough people in the downtown.
Yeah.
So when businesses are coming in, they're looking at numbers of residents and seeing if they can have a business in that area because there's enough people to support it. And having all of these new residences will certainly help new businesses be convinced to come here. But at least that's the hope.
Yeah.
You did the tour of 21 Summer Street recently. I don't suppose that'd be an encore, kind of opportunity to do that. I would love to.
We did have, that was our last member meeting for the fall. Maybe we can do it again in the spring. They do have it's wide open right now. The whole first floor is wide open, ready for 1 to 3 business tenants. And then the upstairs apartments are 1 or 2 bedrooms or 2+ with an office. So they have availability, and you can see it all online. Yeah. But
Building you up, it's been interesting.
Yeah. It's really beautiful inside. And I mean, the restaurant portion, you can look in the windows. I think my favorite part of it is that there is on the outside, it just looks like a black area of wall. And that is actually an open area that you can then have like a garage door. And so you can if it's a restaurant, you can just open it up and it's like open to the air. I'm like, that's very exciting.
Where are we now?
21 Summer Street, which is like right near Pecan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is that the place that used to be?
We're all hoping for a
Yeah.
restaurant to go in there and to be open late night so that people can go there before and after Pecan. Yeah.
I know my neighbor across the street works as a front-end manager at a restaurant in Brookline. Name escapes me right now. I know he's talked to Paul Joseph about potentially siting that's here.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great location.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, again, Heather, thanks so much for spending the time with us.